what is going on in South Africa right now. And I think every African need to be aware. If case you have the plan of traveling to South Africa, you should think twice before traveling there. Since South Africa, some of them, not all of them, they say we are not part of them or they are not part of us. You see, recently they started again targeting foreigners. They call them foreigners, Africa foreigners. But as for me, I call them my brothers, not foreigner. Anywhere I see a black man, whether from South Africa, from Ghana, from Mali, I see them as my brother. And that's how it's supposed to be. So I didn't want to talk about this since when they started these things again until I saw.
Peace up to the tribe. We talk about it, man. What's going on in, as you guys see, what's going on in South Africa is the epitome of African ignorance, man. I have a few clips I want to share with you guys today, and one of them is a young man, and his thinking surround what's going on is the soundest that I've heard. And he said that 80% of business that's happening in South Africa, 80% is Muzungu, right, or white people. But these atrocious attacks that we are seeing on people is Africans taking advantage of the vulnerability of their fellow Africans. And this is the age-old story of black on black crime, on tribal infighting, foreign powers coming in and pitting people against each other, and we fall for it every single time, and it's heartbreaking to sit and turn on YouTube or turn on the TV and you see this level of ignorance. One lady said that they're tired and they no longer want other Africans in their country. Ignorance at the highest level. She doesn't understand that when it comes to politics, when it comes to economics, when it comes to trade, right? You do these things out of partnerships with countries. So if you're engaging on the world scale in business, that means there's going to be an influx of people that come in. Let's say you're doing business with China. There's going to be an influx of people from China that come in to do trade, do business with you. If you're doing business from Ghana or with Ghana or with Morocco, whoever, there's going to be an influx of people that come in to make sure that these trades, these businesses, these exchanges of resources is going to happen properly. So when ignorance speaks out and says that we no longer want, this is an individual that really don't understand how the world works at all. Give me a second, fam. Y'all know. They really don't understand how the world works. So to say to your fellow African, you understand, you could be from Tanzania, you could be from Kenya, you could be from Uganda, and they find out that you're in the country, you're at risk of getting a mob beat down, and if you're lucky, you'll make it out. If you're lucky. The footage that I'm seeing is, you can easily see it spiraling into something else. I saw footage of people going in hospitals, telling women and kids, if they're not South African, leave. You understand? I've seen footage of a brother um, got the beat down from the mob, and later to find out that in fact he was a South African citizen, born and raised in South Africa. So this is what happened when ignorance um, hits the world stage at this level. It's just a bunch of chaos. I've also seen footage of people ransacking businesses, taking products. Um, they're using this opportunity just to come up, and it's unfortunate because I see it getting worse. I don't see it getting better. But what happens is that South Africa and the innocent people that get caught up in all of this stuff, it's unfortunate because there's going to be a backlash. And South Africans, and I'm not saying everyone, but the ones that's carrying out this foolishness, they forget that there's South Africans all across the globe. And how would they feel if people start beating on them in other countries? It doesn't work like that. Just because you have an opinion and you feel a certain kind of way, you're saying that people are coming in and taking your jobs, and does that mean that those people should be violated, should be beat on, should be kicked in the face, kicked in the stomach, hit in the head with a stick, because they are simply wanting to wake up every day to take care of their families? This is where we gone, family? Is this how out on the deep end we are to make a point that we don't want you all here? Is that how we do things as civil people? All of those Europeans that's in South Africa, and we seen footage of that too, South Africans getting into it with white South Africans getting into it with Africans, but it's not to the scale that we're doing it to ourselves. It's not to that level. And you have to ask the question, why? There's an oxymoron here. There's a hypocrisy here. And I'm not inciting violence. I'm not advocating that whatsoever. But what I am saying, the elephant in the room, is that the European wins again. It's called divide and conquer, people. It works every time. You understand? It works every single time. And like the young brother was saying, and I'll share this clip with you. This will be my last clip that I share. He said that 80%, most of the jobs that come or that's had in South Africa is from Europeans. That we need to create our own opportunities, our own companies that will outshine these European companies. You understand? So is I just wanted to come on and share. Matter of fact, let me run this clip and I'm going to close out.
80% of our land in South Africa is white owned. We're basically dog. Every street. In our own country. We're begging, man. And who's our enemy? I don't like that statement. I feel like a white man made that statement. A white man coined that term. A white man caused the divisions between us as black people. And they're winning, man. Because as long as we are divided as Africans, the longer the white man gets to stay in power, the more wealth the white man gets to accrue. The richer and richer they get, the poorer and poorer we get. Doesn't help we fight amongst each other and fit to say, this guy from Zimbabwe is doing what. When that guy also ain't got shit, man. That guy also ain't got shit. That guy from Burundi you're hating on, he ain't got shit, man. The person you should be hating on is the guy sitting there in Fetu in some lavish estate. That white guy who owns like Fetu in your hometown alone owns like 60% of all the shops. That's your problem, man. If we want to talk about foreigners coming into our country and taking our jobs, you gotta ask yourself the question, who's hiring them? Who's hiring them, honestly? Huh? Who's hiring them, dog? Because they wouldn't be coming here if they were not getting paid. The white man pays them, and the white man knows that we have a problem of illegal immigration in our country. But will they stop employing these people? No, they will not. No, they will not. So do not come here on social media trying to talk some xenophobic ass bullshit and if you're saying if they must get out of our country, whatever, they are illegal, they're taking our jobs. What jobs, dog? What job? It's not your job. It's the white man's jobs. And he decides who he wants to give it to. And that's where the problem is. We need to be making our own jobs. Coming together instead of fighting each other. We should be coming together, creating organizations, creating companies, dog. Companies that will outshine these white companies. You need to put them out of business, man. I understand that we can't go guns blazing saying we're taking everything back. Let's work for it. Let's stop killing our brothers and sisters. Let's stop killing our African brothers and sisters. Like, actually, let's try to work together. Just this one time is all I ask for. Just one time. This is a very important time in African history. And if you're on the wrong side, you're gonna regret it later. Fam, choose wisely.
As you can see, not everyone from South Africa is ignorant. You know, this young gentleman, he eloquently lays out what's going on, what the problem is, and the actual solution in a 2-minute video. You understand? So, for those of us on social media and out and about in the world, let's not get swayed or influenced about what's going on. Like the Honorable Peter Tosh says, and I always quote that, wherever you are in the world, if you're a black man, you're an African. Through the Berlin Conference, we understand that Belgium, that the French, America, Russia, well, I don't know if Russia was part of the Berlin Conference, where they chopped Africa up and divided it amongst themselves. And along with that, they created these false borders. It's all in the history, family. I mean, we forget these things, that there was no such thing as South Africa. There was no such thing as Ghana, Togo, Rwanda, Uganda. These are all boundaries that was put in place by foreigners. You understand? And that's why Kwame Nkrumah, and that's why Muammar Gaddafi was so powerful, that they had a vision to unify the entire continent. That when we see our brothers from Ethiopia all the way down to Zimbabwe, all the way across to Mauritius, all the way across to Senegal, that we see one unified body. We are all Africans. When we see our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, down in South America, in Brazil, when we see our family, you understand, all throughout the Caribbean islands, we know for a surety that we are Africans. When we see our brothers in Haiti, you understand that can you just imagine, like Public Enemy once said, the fear of a black planet. Can you imagine, family, if we was really unified world over? That is the powerhouse, family. That is the sleeping giant. You understand? When that sleeping giant awakes and understand the value that Africa as a continent brings to the world, my good scholar Anthony uh, um, Anthony Browder. He created the book Contributions. Oh man, what's the name of this book? Contributions of the African Civilization. I'm off the top of the head, family, but something along those lines. Africa's contributions to the world. And in it, you will find that there isn't one thing, one subject, one area of this existence that we, as African people, didn't bring forth. You understand? So shout out to Anthony Browder and his daughter. And one of the things in ancient Kemet, it always says to know thyself. All of this chaos and violence in the streets of South Africa right now is because of lack of information, lack of the scope of the world and how things really work in the world, family. You understand? If you knew that you are, in fact, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, gods of the universe, you wouldn't have conversations as your fellow African is taking jobs. That was created by Europeans. You would know that you have the skill, the ability to go out into the universe and create your own situation. You would know that. So the real enemy is this Eurocentric world system that was created with you, not in mind. It wasn't created with you in mind. So with that said, that you have to be able to create situations and circumstances for yourself, opportunities for yourself, like the young brother said, that will outshine whatever it is that they bring in. Whatever it is that they offering, we have to do better. My teacher once told me that we always have to outthink those that are creating a pit for you to fall in. So I'm going to leave on that note, family. Let's put the ignorance on the shelf. And let's lock arms as one people, one family. This is a very small platform. So I'm pretty sure that I won't reach the masses, but for those of you that tuned in and spent a little bit of time here, I want to say thank you for your contribution of your time and of your ears. And yeah, y'all know. I'm going to tune out right here just to tune back in. We are heading out. Stay tuned. We're going to a different region, and I'm going to take you guys with me. So stay tuned for the next video. I'm your brother Samal here. I'm going to tune out just to tune back in. Peace out. And I almost forgot, man. Take care of yourself.